Hi, this is Jane with Heart of Home Cooking, and here we are on another show. And today I'm going to be fixing you. Again, fixing, for those of you who don't know, is a Texas saying. And we also roll the window down. How we do that, I do not know. But I'm so glad you're here today, and we're going to have a wonderful time with salmon patties and with fresh vegetables and fruit. So come back and don't miss a second of this show. You're going to really be touched. This is going to be all about Texas love. And I want you to feel loved today. I want your soul to be comforted with this food. And I hope you feel the love coming through into your home. And as you cook this food, knowing that you are loved and you're appreciated. If you cook from the heart, I guarantee you that your food is going to be good. I am glad that you came back, and we are going to have an exciting day today. I'm going to start off just sharing with you about a time I was in Israel in 1991 during the Gulf War. And these salmon patties I'm going to make you, I made for people who came to eat on Shabbat. Shabbat being from Friday to Saturday night, and people would come and they would give me money. I'd go out shopping in the market, the open market, and get on the bus and bring it on home. No, I wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid that the bus was going to blow up, and I wasn't afraid even when the missiles might come our way that anything would happen to me. So I just went on my way, and all I really could do at that time was cook, because I didn't have any money to give the woman that I was staying with. And one of the things that I cooked, one of the foods that I cooked was salmon patty. And yes, they do have salmon in a can in Israel. And so we're going to start off with that today. First of all, I'm going to put some oil. And I'll just go ahead and bring some things over. This is the salmon, canned salmon. I like the pink kind. And I'll get the rest of it in a minute. I'm going to pour some oil, probably about an inch, maybe not quite that, about a half an inch of oil. And then let's turn the fire on and start getting it hot. Now you can just do, we didn't have cast iron skillet. Now I really like a cast iron skillet. Now let me give you a tip here. Always turn your handle to the side like this, okay? Now it's heavy, so the cast iron, it wouldn't be so easy to tip, but if you're using a Teflon pan, it could be easily tipped. If your baby's crawling around by the stove, might reach up there, so be sure you always put the handle to the side. Okay, now we have our salmon, and I'm just going to break it up. I like to use my hands. I did wash them before I started, I promise you. I have a nursing background, and between nursing and being a restaurant owner, I am really into hygiene. So washing hands is very important to me, and being clean. Okay, just crumble it up. Now, I read in a recipe where some people took the bones out of canned salmon, but they're really dissolvable. You know, you just crunch them. I mean, I've never got a bone that I got choked on. So you do whatever you feel like you want to do. All righty, we've got that. And I am going to put potatoes. Now, this is my Uncle Sonny's recipe, my mother's brother. And he had a big family, and he gave me his recipe. Now, he's gone to heaven too. He's left this earth, but I still love to make these salmon patties. Some people call them cakes. I call them patty. And I put the potato in. I just kind of crunch it up. I boiled it first and peeled it. I like to cook my potatoes with peeling on and then take the peeling off. But you can do it any way you'd rather do it, whatever is easier for you. Okay, so what are we going to do next? I'm going to put some onion, about a half a cup for this. If you had 2 cans, you can do 2 cups. And I'm going to take some salt. And I'm pinch the salt in. It's probably about a half a teaspoon of salt in it. You know, it's according to what, if you're watching your blood pressure, you might not want to use much salt. It's according to how much seasoning you like in your food. I like to season my food. And then I take cornmeal, and we use cornmeal and flour. And so I'm going to just sprinkle it in for right now. And that's probably about 2 tablespoons of yellow cornmeal. I like yellow. Some people like white. My mother liked white. I'm going to put a little bit more. And that was about a half a cup, so that's about, almost a fourth that I used. Okay, and then just stir it up some more. Get that pan hot. I want to get it really hot before I put it in there. That is important, that the oil is really hot. Then you can turn it down, but you want to get it crisp and brown. And on the combination of the salmon and the potatoes, you got a great crunch, and it's just so delicious. You can make the next day, you can make a salmon patty sandwich with mustard on the bread. That's good. I'll give you some tips. You could use leftovers. We used a lot of leftovers in our family. Okay, I'm gonna bring the eggs over. And I have a life recipe I'm going to share with you in a few minutes. I usually do that first, but I just got right into this salmon. I could smell it and going, that needs to cook. So while the patties are cooking, I'll share that with you. There's recipes in life to get through life. Life can be very difficult, very hard, even with today, with the wars that we're hearing, and the different problems, the poverty in different nations, and murders, and diseases. So many people are getting cancer. I'm going to put just a little bit more flour. This helps keep it together. The eggs help bind it. Okay. All right. I think this oil is ready. Yeah, this is great. Oh, I know it's a mess, isn't it? Okay. So I just put it in my hand. And I pat it. I kind of make a little ball in it first, and then I put it in the pan. Yeah, you can hear that sizzling. That's great. It's already smelling good. It won't take long to brown it. Yeah, that's great. When you can hear that popping a little bit. I'm going to make around 4. Yeah, good. But this would make about 6, what I have, but I'm going to make about 4 for the show. You'll enjoy it so much. So this is something I did in Israel during the Gulf War. You never knew when those sirens were going to go off, and you had to run to that safe room. Some call it a bomb shelter, but they like to call it a safe room. And really for me it was, and I'll share a little bit more with you about that. Let me wipe my hands off. I just have a towel I'm doing that with right now. Praise the Lord. I feel so good today. How about you? Are you feeling good? I hope so. Well, here's a life recipe for you. Safety in the midst of chaos. That's what we need. And I'm going to share later with you more about being in Israel during the Gulf War when the missiles were coming, sirens were going off. But Psalm 7:8, you have put gladness in my heart. More. Oh, I need my glasses. I keep forgetting. I am 60. I'm sorry. You have put gladness in my heart more than when their grain and new wine abound. In peace I will both lie down and sleep. For you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. Let me read that again. Psalms 7:8. You have put gladness in my heart more than when there is grain and new wine abound. In peace I will both lie down and sleep. For you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. Well, he really helped me to be safe during my time in Israel. I've been there during the uprising, the Intifada. I've been there during the Gulf War. I was there when war with Lebanon was going on a few years ago. And we're not there right now with the situation the way it is. But, God is just so good. It just takes care of us wherever we're at. Accidents can happen in the car, on the airplane. Anywhere you go, you need to feel safe and secure and peaceful. And Jesus is here to help you feel that way. And we hope that when you're on this show, that's what you feel, that you feel peace. You feel that shalom. Shalom's Hebrew for peace. And that you feel that you're loved and comforted and you're safe. So if there's anything that's causing you fear today, we're going to pray for you at the end of the show, and we're going to make that fear go. All right, looking forward to seeing you back, and we're going to get going on the vegetables.
Like many of you, Jane Nasrallah has experienced many of life's difficult challenges. In 2007, Jane had a prophetic vision from the Lord. She saw herself cooking her favorite recipes and sharing her miraculous testimonies with the world. She knew that cooking would be a way to share the heart of the Father and touch many lives the way the Lord has touched hers. Now, you can bring that same warmth into your home with Jane and Heart of Home Cooking. Jane has cooked for her family and friends all of her life, and now she wants to bring the love and healing to you and your family. For more information on how you can bring Heart of Home Cooking to your next event or church function, visit www.heartofhomecooking.com. You can find updates, recipes, and cooking products, send prayer requests, or give personal feedback about Jane's recipes. Join Jane at heartofhomecooking.com. We want to hear from you.
I am so glad you're back because these salmon patties are ready. Now let me just show you a trick that I use in turning them. I turn them with a fork. I just lay it on top of another and I just flip it over and they are about done. They smell so good. And those potatoes are going to be making such a crunch. Now I put a paper towel on the plate. And then I'm going to pick them up very gently because they are done and we don't want them to overcook. There we go. That smells so good. I wish you could smell it. Surely somebody's going to make a microphone that smells, right? All right. Put this over here. That is so good. And I'm going to turn this off. We want this to stop cooking. And I'm going to move this skillet over away from me. It's very hot. Now I have some corn. I've got some water here that I am going to be putting on. So let me just turn this back on and get it to, it's boiling now, but I want to boil it some more. Now what we're going to have today is we're going to have corn on the cob, and I'm going to be cutting these. I've already shook them, whatever you call it. They've already been taken off, all the leaves, and you want to be sure to get as many of the strings off as you possibly can, or you would find yourself needing a toothpick because they will get between your teeth. And Israel, by the way, has corn on the cob too. They have these wonderful fresh markets. And if you've never been to Israel, shame on you. You need to go. And I have some people say, well, I'm afraid to fly. So if you're going to die, you're going to die. My mother used to say, well, when I die, I want to be on the ground. I said, Mom, that airplane went down, you were on it, you're already over, you're not even going to know it. You're going to be on the other side. So don't not go somewhere. I mean, that's kind of the way Texans talk, backwards. Don't not go somewhere that you would like to go because you're afraid of flying. We're going to get rid of fear today whenever we pray. And you are going to feel safe in an airplane. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut this halfway. That's what I do. And then I just snap it. Oops. It went all over the place, didn't it? Let me move these forks out of the way. And here we go. This is sweet corn. I like sweet corn with a lot of butter. I know some of you are saying, she's bad having all that butter. You know, if you don't want butter, don't have butter. But butter sure is good. Now, I'm going to take this lid. It's hot, so use a pad to open it up. And just drop it in. And this is going to probably cook for about 15 minutes. The water is boiling. And we put some salt in the water. Now, I won't either. I don't have any salt. I forgot to cut salt. Well, that's okay. They'll be good anyway. So I'm going to put that back on. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have cantaloupe. Let me get this knife cleaned off. Now, what I also like to do before I do that is, let me just empty this, is I like to pat these. Now, these are not really greasy. I mean, I use vegetable oil. Olive oil is too heavy to use with this. And those are going to be so good. Now we're going to slice the cantaloupe. Now, it's already been peeled, and it's been just cut in quarters. And I'm not a chef again, so don't look for me to cut things right. Don't write me on my blog and say, you cut that wrong. You know, I'm taking some internet courses on how to use knives, but I've been doing this for years and years and years. I had my own cafe called Janie's Texas Cafe, and And my mama had a cafe called Edna's, and we had a wonderful time together. This is a whole cantaloupe I'm cutting. I love cantaloupe. It's delicious. And we just loved waiting on people, and finally got to we had a buffet. That was a lot easier. And we sometimes would have 70 people coming in Mama's, and we didn't have a dishwasher. We had to do it all by hand, pots and pans. And let me tell you, that was a lot of work. Well, let me dry my hands again. And I'm going to get this platter, and I'm going to put a few of these on here and just make them pretty. There we go. Yeah. Boy, I wish you were here to eat this with me. This is going to be so good. Now, another thing that will go with this dish is fried okra, which I've done in another show. I'm just going to put these over to the side. I'll just put them in this bowl. Now we're going to have tomatoes. And this is just an easy dish. It's salmon patties, cantaloupe, and tomatoes and corn on the cob. Now you got your starch with corn on the cob. Of course, you got starch with flour and cornmeal also, but it's not a whole lot of it. I thought about doing biscuits, but I'll just wait for another time to do that with you. And the way I do it is I go ahead, and again, I'm not a professional when it comes to slicing. So I know I'm going to hear from some of you professionals, right? And Mother always told me that I cut off way too much. When I peel potatoes, she said, you take half the potato with it. And I've tried to get better, but I don't like a potato peeler, but it does help on the peelings when you use one. But what I like to do is I like to make them half. Just do a half. I'll do 2 of these, and I will just put that back in there. I think that's a little too much. And here we go. And you just slice them, put them on there. They'll be pretty. You might like some onions with this. You know, some people like raw onions, some people don't. Purple onions are really good. You know, some green onions, shallots as some call them. They'll be delicious with this dish. And this is healthy. You know, you got your fish, a little bit of southern in it, you know, with a little bit of carbs. But you also have some fresh vegetables here that you can enjoy. There we go. All right, we're going to wait for the corn on the cob to come. Now, I'm just kind of throwing it on there. You know, when I bring people over, I'm just old country cook. No, I'm not old, am I? Well, sometimes I feel that way. But I'm just a country cook, and I don't really care how it looks. I just want you to enjoy every bit of it. And so, you know, in Israel, I could go to the open market there, the shuk, they call it, and get the fresh vegetables. And I don't know what it is about there, but their vegetables and their fruit are absolutely the best. And they, of course, have kosher meat. And maybe I'll talk later about how they kosher their meat. And it's just really delicious. And so during the Gulf War, when I was there, the missiles were coming, the sirens would go off, and we'd have to just stop cooking in the middle of the food that we're preparing and go to that bomb shelter. Now, where I was at in the Armenian quarters in Jerusalem, we didn't have a bomb shelter or safe shelter, as they call it. All the new houses today have to have that. But what we had to do is get a room and put plastic up and put tape around it. And I wore a gas mask. And let me tell you, my makeup is expensive. That's about the only thing I really spend on myself, and sometimes my clothes. But man, I'd get really upset when that gas mask had to come off because my makeup was just all on that mask. And then I'd have to put it on again. And but the meals I try to keep simple during that time because of those sirens going off. And you know, people ask me, well, were you ever afraid? Absolutely not. I really wasn't afraid. Was my mother afraid? Yes. Was my other family members afraid? Absolutely. And they were in America where it was safe. But I was fine because I knew that I was hidden under the shelter of his wings. I knew that Jesus was my protector, and he didn't send me to Israel for me to get blown up. He sent me there to cook people food like I'm cooking you. So, you know, I just want to just tell you that God loves you, and he is walking with you, and he is protecting you, and he is showing you the way. You may not know it. It may be a brand new thing for you. Some of you may say, well, I don't believe that there is a God. Well, I've got so many stories to share with you on Heart of Home Cooking to show you that He is real. I've even been to heaven several times, and there will be shows where I'll be sharing that with you. And I have even been held by Jesus and loved on by Him, so He is real. And I want you to experience His love. I want you to experience His peace. I want you to experience everything that He has for you. And I hope on this show that you will, with these life recipes, the Psalms that I read you today, and all the other scriptures, and all that I share with you, that you will walk away not only knowing how to cook simple, tasty meals and inviting people over, even loving on yourself by cooking for yourself. Many people just go to fast food. They don't even cook for themselves. But these are simple meals where you can love on yourself. And that'll be on another show about loving on yourself. Well, I'm going to take out, the corn should be done by now. This looks so good. Wow. And I'll get some butter on it a little bit. I'll put 3 on it. Wow, look at that. Let me put this back up here. There's a few more in there. We're just going to let them cook. And we're going to just put these tomatoes here. Oh, I'm going to throw these away. Yeah, put that over. Well, I hope that you are enjoying yourself, and we're going to be coming back in a few minutes, and I'm going to be praying with you and loving on you again. Heart of Home Cooking, where love is the main ingredient. This is what this show is all about, is loving you and putting love into your cooking, into your recipes. And I promise you, you will feel love. And the people that you prepare for, whether it be family, friends, neighbors, even strangers, when they leave, they'll feel love and cozy and warm. And in today's world where people, it seems like love is growing cold. People are so busy. They're not taking time to be together. That food is a way of bringing people together. It's a way of sharing stories and memories. Well, God bless you. And you come back for that prayer now, okay?
Like many of you, Jane Nasrallah has experienced many of life's difficult challenges. In 2007, Jane had a prophetic vision from the Lord. She saw herself cooking her favorite recipes and sharing her miraculous testimonies with the world. She knew that cooking would be a way to share the heart of the Father and touch many lives the way the Lord has touched hers. Now, you can bring that same warmth into your home with Jane and Heart of Home Cooking. Jane has cooked for her family and friends all of her life, and now she wants to bring the love and healing to you and your family. For more information on how you can bring Heart of Home Cooking to your next event or church function, visit www.heartofhomecooking.com. You can find updates, recipes, and cooking products, send prayer requests, or give personal feedback about Jane's recipes. Join Jane at heartofhomecooking.com. We want to hear from you.
We have this simple and beautiful spread for you. So welcome back. I'm glad you didn't turn the channel and didn't go elsewhere, but that you came back to see what all we did, and also to hear the rest of the story and to be prayed for at the end. Now, what we have here is salmon patties. Some call it a cake. I put cornmeal, and I put flour and onions, and I used 2 eggs with 1 can of salmon. And then I put salt and pepper in it and onions, and just squished it all together with my hands, and had a hot pan of grease. Cast iron is what I really like to cook with. And I wait until it's hot enough that it sizzles and it gets crunchy. As you can see, this is very crunchy. Oh, and it slides. How about that? And then I have some cantaloupe here that are fresh in the season, and then some sliced tomatoes. I like to get the fresh garden kind, organic, and then we have some corn on the cob, sweet corn on the cob. It's white and yellow corn. But I am going to put, if I put the butter first, guess what's going to happen to the salt and to the pepper? It's going to go off, right? So let's put the butter first. I just want to make you hungry. You just want to say, I want to go to Jane's house and eat. And I tell you what, if you do come to my house, you come to any of my cooking demonstrations in the future, I tell you, I'll give you a big hug because that is a part of who I am, is hugging. I love to hug, unless you just tell me you don't want to be hugged. Okay, there we go with some salt. And then you know what normally I do, and I'm going to leave it now so I don't get my hands all dirty, but I'll turn it over and put butter on the other side and roll it in the butter. Now again, if you're watching your waist and you're watching, you know, your calories and your cholesterol, then you wouldn't want to use that much butter, if any. And so here you go, a very simple meal, very delicious. You can do this in the wintertime. You get cantaloupe in the winter, and if you can't find cantaloupe, get you some other kind of fresh fruit to put with it. Tomatoes always, corn on the cob. You can always find, even in the frozen section, corn on the cob. This is not a very expensive meal. In fact, it is quite inexpensive, and you could double it, triple it, and you could feed a family of like 6 or even 8 and make some homemade biscuits or cornbread to put with it. Well, that's for another show, right? And so as I was telling you today about the Gulf War, that's 1991. I went to Israel in 1988 with $20 in my pocket. And by faith, Jesus told me it was my land, my people, and my Boaz was there. Well, that's where I met my precious Michael. My last name, Nasrallah, isn't an American name. It is an Arab name. He was raised as a Palestinian, but he's also an Israeli citizen. And Nasrallah is the name that I have. Prince is my maiden name. And so here, the Lord gave me this precious man of God. He was raised in a Catholic family, and he loves this country food. And I met him after the Gulf War in the fall of 1991. And it was just been awesome. But the whole time I'm there, during the Gulf War, again, I want to remind you that I felt very safe. I felt protected. And that is what a relationship with Jesus will do for you. I looked for love in all the wrong places and all the wrong faces until Jesus himself revealed that he was truly the Messiah. And then I understood what warmth and love and unconditional love was. In fact, that's the name of our ministry, is Unconditional Love. And we love to love on people as he has loved on us. Well, I want to say a prayer for you right now before we end this show. Father, I thank you for all of the viewers. And I pray, Father, that their hearts are open to receive your love today, that their hearts are open to receive acceptance from you, and that they will feel safe and secure even in the midst of chaos and turmoil. And we take authority over fear in Jesus' name. We command it to go, and we release your love. We release your kindness. We release your peace, your shalom. Bye for now, and I look forward to the next show.